What's up, nerds and geeks? My name is OMG, WTF, LOL, FTW, BRB. Welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling 2013. We are playing as the WWE in the year of 2015, and we are on the final week for May, not Monday Night May. I don't know why I was gonna... Monday Night May, everybody. We're in the final week of May, the final SmackDown of May, and we're heading into April, building towards the Money in the Bank Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And before we get into the show, I'm going to apologize in advance. This might be a useless apology, but my little brother currently has friends over, and well, they're kids, so they like to scream and be loud. And if that gets captured in the recording, then my apologies in advance. I can't do anything really about that. I mean, I could record at a different time, but I wanted to get SmackDown up. I'm trying to be a little bit more consistent with WWE, since that's all I've been uploading recently, so I don't really have an excuse. Either way, let's go ahead and book SmackDown. I actually enjoyed how the SmackDown ended up turning up. I know I say that about a lot of shows, actually, but I had no ideas going into what I was going to do for SmackDown. It kind of was just on-the-fly booking, and I like how it ended up turning out. We are being held in front of 12,657 people in the Washington Key Arena. And right now, we are on the pre-show. There's 3 pre-show matches tonight. The first is the continuation of the push of Leo Kruger, trying to make up for his horrible turn. Sorry, I have a little bit of hiccups all of a sudden. We have a 40 D- here. Solid ring action, non-existent crowd heat. Kruger defeating Woods with the Kruger end. Nothing to write home about, though, in the road agent report or the worker improvements. I'm probably going to go out and hire some jobbers, to be honest. Kind of like how I am doing in the, or I haven't played WWF in a while, but kind of what I am doing in the WWF one, where I hired, people who are just meant to be jobbers. I'm probably going to go out and do that. Just so I can have, I don't always have to put, Xavier Woods or Heath Slater under it. Not that I mind, but still. We then go on to a 51 D+, and about that had solid ring action, not much weighing heat though. The Divas champion AJ Lee defeating Layla with the Black Widow. I don't know why it says it's loading, or it said it was loading. That was weird. And then our main event of the pre-show gets a 68C+. I'm kind of happy to see that we went from, the worst match of the pre-show to the best match of the pre-show. That's how it should be. 68C+, no one cares, Java. Some good action in average heat. Stardust defeating Jack Swagger with the Crossroads. And nothing to write home about either. So we go on to the main show, and we start off the night with... I must not have clicked it. With an 81B. Heck yes. That's becoming more of a common thing. I should get less excited about that, but I never see A's. So whenever I see a good old classic B, I'm more than happy with it. That and it's SmackDown. You never see B's on SmackDown. At least, B- maybe. Either way, SmackDown starts with the music of Seth Rollins as he makes his way down to the ring. He takes the mic and automatically calls out Sting. Sting, I know you're here, so get so paint your stupid face and get out here. I'm the WWE champion, and you come out when I say so get out here. Seth Rollins is extremely pissed after Monday Night Raw. I mean, this is a guy who thought he was going to have the night off at Money in the Bank, and now he's taken on what many people may consider, I know I do, his greatest rival in Dean Ambrose, in a ladder match nonetheless. So after waiting for a little bit, Seth getting a little angrier and angrier by the minute, Sting's music finally hits, and he makes his debut, by the way. This is Sting's first appearance on Friday Night SmackDown. Pretty crazy. His music hits, he makes his way down to the ring, takes the mic, and he says, "What do you want, Seth? You still angry about Raw?" Seth then responds, "You're damn right I'm angry. You can't do that." And then Sting responds, "Well, you see, Seth, that's where you're wrong and you're right. You see, you're right. I can't do anything. I can't come out here and, book you in an 8-man handicap match. I can't do anything unless the board of directors gives me the call. You see, once the board of directors phones me up and says, 'Sting, do this,' then I can do it." And, speaking of those orders, Seth, speaking of, that call, they did call me tonight, and that's why I'm here at SmackDown. And I was, told to inform you that since Dean Ambrose was in action on Monday Night Raw, and well, since you did not compete on Raw, you didn't have to compete and you weren't scheduled to, but that's not the same tonight. You see, tonight, you're actually going to be in the main event. And then Seth just, what? Tonight, it's bad enough that I already have to defend my title match in a ladder against a guy who should be locked in a psychiatric hospital of all things, but now you expect me to fight? Against who? And then Sting says, oh, trust me, Rollins, you know your opponent very well. In fact, you've taken each other on 2 times already. So let me tell you what's going to happen. Tonight, in the main event, we're going to have a WrestleMania rematch. And it'll be the WWE Champion, Seth Rollins, versus the Apex Predator, Randy Orton. Rollins versus Orton 3. And then Sting's music hits and he starts walking away as Seth is just pissed, throwing a tantrum, telling him, get your ass back here, I'm not done with you, get back here. Sting just ignoring him though because, well, he don't have to listen to Sting, or Seth Rollins. So, glad to see that segment doing well, and that also sets up for our main event tonight, which will be Orton versus Seth Rollins. We then come back from a commercial break. We get a 66C+. Rollins is backstage in the locker room with the other members of the Authority, Rusev and the tag team champions, the Uppercats, Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. And he is pissed right now, Nerds and Geeks. He is tossing things around. Who the hell does Sting think he is? So angry. You have Uppercats, you have Rusev trying to calm him down, and nothing is working. Seth is pissed, Nerds and Geeks. And that's all you really see is them like, oh, calm down, Seth. Don't tell me to calm down, blah, 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 blah. So, just a segment with all 4 members of the Authority here. Well, not all 4. We're missing Triple H, Stephanie, and Big Show and Kane at the moment. But the main 4, I would refer to them without Triple H. The youngings of the Authority. And then we move on to our opening match of the night that does a 71 B-. Wow. The Ascension getting a 71 B- match. Guaranteed this was mostly for the Usos that gave us this grade, but still. The Ascension was in a 71 B-. That's great. Some good action, non-existent crowd heat. The Usos defeating the Ascension when Jimmy Uso defeated Victor with the Alias. Victor is improving in performance, so that's pretty awesome. Now, real quick, I've noticed, you'll see right here, Jimmy Uso got a bonus for engaging the crowd, as did Jay, and as did Victor. Now, I want to know if Connor did. Yes, he did. Oh, okay. Because I've noticed there are some wrestlers who don't. They get negatives for not engaging the crowd. So I'm glad to see that the Ascension actually are capable of doing that. Of course, we're always getting the holding back because it's a TV programming and not a pay-per-view. Victor has a poor gimmick. That's about the only thing I really have to look out for the Ascension. So that's better than nothing. Then we go on to, after the match, a 63C. The Usos are celebrating. And then here comes Luke Harper. Here comes Eric Rowan. The Wyatt family. The 2 monsters come down and they start beating down on the Usos. Why? Well, I don't really know why, but one would have to assume, Jimmy and Jay are the cousins of Roman Reigns. And, well, we saw on Monday Night Raw that the Wyatts didn't really like the Usos. And it seems like this is just going to become more of a reoccurring thing. You see, on Monday Night Raw, it was just Bray versus Jimmy. The circumstances happened. But tonight, the Wyatt family initiated the attack, Nerds and Geeks. So, obviously, what? Wait a minute. Oh, I must not have added them. Oh, I thought I did. Well, this was supposed to help. I mean, it's all right because it's not like a super great grade, so I'm not really worried about it. I mean, it's a good grade for a mid-card program, but, I mean, for Roman and Bray's storyline, not necessarily. But I am going to add Jimmy and Jay to the storyline as well because now they're in it, but I forgot to, I guess. So this was supposed to, kind of signify that now the Wyatts are feuding with Usos as well. So, write them off from the tag team feud as well. And then we go back from a commercial break. We have a 61C where the Usos are pretty much just backstage ranting about the Wyatt family. Like, hey, Wyatts, you got a problem with us? You better take it up with us or something like that. Like, they're not happy. They're not in their good look, good mood or all that where they're joking around. Hey, Us. Nah, these two are pissed and they're straight up saying, if you got a problem with us, you can settle it with us in the middle of the ring because we all seen what history does then. Anytime you boys challenge us in a match, we beat your asses. But the only way you can beat our asses is by beating us from behind, pretty much just the Usos, telling the Wyatts like, we ain't got a problem taking you on, but you already know you about to get whooped. Also, Naomi helping Jimmy, so that works, so I guess. We then go on to a 52D plus. I think these guys had a better match on the pre-show. 52D plus, solid in-ring action, not much weighing heat though. Victoria defeating, when I say pre-show, I meant on Monday Night Raw, by the way. Victoria defeating Nikki Bella with the Widow's Peak after a botched interference by Brie. I would imagine how it happening is like Nikki holding Victoria there, or while the ref's knocked out or something like that, and goes for like a forearm, or maybe Victoria's like leaning on the ropes or something, and Nikki or Brie goes for a forearm. I just picture it being a forearm of all things, and like her accidentally hitting Nikki, and then Nikki being like, oh, what the fuck, and then Victoria just Widow's Peak and wins the match. No worker improvements. In fact, I'm a little disappointed. I could have swore these two had a better match on the Monday Night Raw pre-show. We then go into a 46D rating. Victoria is being interviewed backstage about her match, and she's also asked about her return and the difference between the Divas division now and then how it was back then. And Victoria says, I'm so happy to be back. I'm having a lot of fun out there, and the Divas division has definitely kicked it up a notch. I mean, I just had a great match with Nikki Bella, and I had a great match with Paige a couple of weeks back. No, she didn't. That's just what they would have said. And I'm just truly blessed to not only be able to, keep up with these younger girls, but actually be able to win too. That's awesome. And then, Natalia just approaches her. I imagine her, slow clapping, and she just starts to begin to laugh, and then Victoria just goes, what's so funny? And then Natty goes, oh, nothing, Vicky. I just couldn't help but laugh at how hypocritical you're being. I mean, you scold me for winning my match on Raw against AJ because of a little interference that was out of my control, but yet you boast your own ego after your win despite a little bit of twin magic. Looks like you and I aren't so different after all. And then Natty just, walks away, all, uptight and haha, I'm better than you, while Victoria just, looks all angry like, that bitch should not just do that. I'm probably going to use SmackDown for, like, the Victoria-Natalia feud and Raw for, like, the AJ Page feud. We then go on to a 64C. Sheamus and Bad News Barrett backstage, and they're trying to get along before their tag team match later on tonight. Sheamus says, look, despite what happened on Raw, you and I are partners tonight, so we need to work together. And then Barrett goes, oh, I've got no arguments there. Just stay out of my way this time. Sheamus then goes, I only came out because you were stepping on my ground. You know Cena's mine. Barrett then replies, that's not how things work around here. Last I checked, Cena's beaten you twice. And then Sheamus goes, he's beaten you twice now too. And Barrett responds, well, he wouldn't have beaten me if it wasn't for you coming out. And then Sheamus goes, look, we can bicker back and forth, or we can take all this aggression out on our opponents. And then finally Barrett says, even though he says can't disagree with you there, he goes, that is something you and I can agree on. And just pretty much, kind of bickering back and forth, kind of, we saw on Monday Night Raw, in case any of you missed it. Barrett did accept the open challenge from Cena, but lost after a distraction from Sheamus. Sheamus came out and was like, what are you doing? And Barrett's like, what the hell are you doing out here? And then turns around, attitude adjustment. So they're a little, Barrett's still a little pissed, but the two of them have a tag team match up next, so they got to learn to work together. Speaking of that tag team matchup, we move on to that, and it gets a 54C-. A match has some good action, but not much weighing heat. The Primetime Players, nerds and geeks. PTP defeating Sheamus and Barrett. I know, crazy. What am I thinking? Sheamus and Barrett losing to the Primetime Players when Titus O'Neil defeated Sheamus with a spear after a distraction from Barrett. So the way I would like to imagine it happening is Sheamus possibly reaching for a tag, and then Barrett just no, and drops down. And then Titus, turns around, and I guess Titus hits him with a spear. I was picturing more of, maybe Sheamus like, you motherfucker, and then turns around and goes after Titus just to get the fall of Titus. But a spear works too, I guess. And Darren Young is improving in performance here, and Sheamus is improving in technical. Sheamus was not happy about taking this loss, so I did actually have to not only keep him strong. Huh. Maybe I didn't. I thought I had to keep him strong, but I mean, I did, but I thought I had to protect him as well, but I hope he's not pissed then. Let's look at the dirt sheet real quick and just see what exactly we have that negative wise. Okay, Darren Young has a poor gimmick. Titus O'Neil is just not good. I mean, I always really don't really like him that much either, so whatever. So not a bad match here, just a way to get PTP some momentum. We then go on to a backstage segment that gets a 56C-. Primetime players are backstage, and they're celebrating their win over Sheamus and Barrett when an interviewer approaches them and asks them about the victory. Titus then takes the mic and responds, "Tonight was a huge victory for the Primetime players, and it's only a matter of time before we get those tag team titles, because as far as I'm concerned, we're the #1 contenders after that win." And then you have The Miz just coming in, slow clapping, and he's just like, really? Really? Give me 1 second, Nerds and Geeks. I'll be right back. Apologies for that brief moment of silence there, Nerds and Geeks. I hope you guys don't mind. But I almost said I am recording. You know I'm recording. Like I said, my little brother's got friends over. He's also not the nicest person in the world. And well, the little kid was just informing me, apparently my brother's being mean. Let's get off of that, though. I use YouTube as a distraction, not about my everyday life. So as I said, Miz comes in, slow capping, and then he just goes, "Really? Really? Really? #1 contenders? I mean, come on, Titus. We both know that victory was a fluke. There's no way you could beat Sheamus. And if it wasn't for Cesaro and Kid being afraid of me and Miz now, we would have beaten you guys on Monday Night Raw, and we'd be the #1 contenders." And then I can just imagine Titus, just being like, back and forth, just the two teams arguing, bickering, and then finally Titus be like, "You know what? You think you can beat us? Fine. How about next week, or probably Monday Night Raw? I don't know when I'm going to do it yet, Nerds and Geeks. Next week, you meet us in action, and we'll see which team is the better team." And a little bit of an argument there between the two. I mean, O'Neil and Young getting a pretty big victory, but Miz just being the Miz, of course. We then go on to a 63C. Good Lord. And Sheamus and Barrett are in their locker room, and they're just pissed. Sheamus is like, "What the hell is your problem?" And then Barrett's like, "What's my problem? You cost me a United States Championship match, and you expect me to go out there and be all buddy-buddy with you? Nah. As far as I'm concerned, that's payback." And then Sheamus, just arguing, the two bickering back and forth. And then eventually, I guess, Bad News Barrett storms out Theories, but I just imagine the angle, or the camera fading out while the two are still arguing. We then go on to a 74B-. Dolph Ziggler's music hits, and he makes his way out to the ring, takes a mic, and he starts talking about the Money in the Bank, basically. "This past Monday was a rough night for me. I was 3 seconds away from getting a WWE Championship match at Money in the Bank. But it's not every day you get rewarded for losing. And I may not be getting my title shot yet, but I will be in the main event, stealing the show when I climb that ladder and I pull the briefcase down for the second time, baby. And then I end the night as your new WWE World Heavyweight Champion." And then you just hear like, the Bray Wyatt, whatever. And then lights go off, lights come back on, and there you see Bray Wyatt and his Bray Wyatt with the Wyatt family behind him. On the, what do they call it? The entranceway, the top, the ramp. You have Harper, Rowan, Leo Kruger all out there. And again, Leo Kruger's not rated, so I'm cheating in a way here. But that's why it's not a C angle, because I guarantee you Kruger in here would have been definitely brought down. So Bray interrupts him. He starts to laugh at Dolph before taking the mic, and he says, "You're forgetting one thing, Dolph. I'll be there. I'll be the one causing all the pain and the agony. And I got plenty to give to you. And when I'm done tormenting all your souls, it'll be I who holds the prize above my head, and 4 other men falling at my knees." I think I was supposed to say 5, not 4. 5 other men. I don't know why I said 4, because it's a 6-man thing. And then Dolph simply replies, "Bray, why wait till Money in the Bank? Why don't you bring me to my knees? Why don't you bring all your pain and agony down on me right now? Why not?" And then Bray accepts. And that leads us to our next match, Nerds and Geeks. which gets a 65C, and about that had featured great action and a good crowd. Dolph Ziggler defeating Bray Wyatt when Wyatt was disqualified after Luke, Eric, and Leo Kruger run in and start beating down on Ziggler. So I imagine Ziggler possibly, getting ready to do the super kick, and which leads to, finally the Wyatt family just getting in there, start beating down on Dolph Ziggler. Bray starts joining in, and what's this lead to, Nerds and Geeks? I bet none of you can guess. A 75 B-, where Roman Reigns comes and saves the day. I use this angle a lot, but to be fair, I mean, the Wyatt family beats down. Roman's supposed to be the one that protects. You know what I'm saying. Either way, Dolph's getting beaten down. Bray and the family's beaten down on Dolph Ziggler right now. And out comes Roman Reigns. He chases out the Wyatt family and stands tall with Dolph Ziggler. This will probably set up with for a tag team match later on. I don't think I'm going to do qualification Money in the Bank matches on SmackDown. I think I'll only do them on Raw, by the way. So 75 B-, not a bad angle, actually. We then go on to a 66C+. I expected this to do better, actually. Definitely at least a B-. This is a little upsetting for me, actually, to see Dean Ambrose and friggin' Randy Orton in a 66C+ here. But what can you do? We look over here. Actually, I don't know if I can show it. No, I guess not. I have them both rated on entertainment right here, despite the fact how it just says Dean Ambrose is psyching Orton up. This is pretty much just Ambrose, approaching Orton saying, I got your back tonight or something. Orton is learning to show more charisma, though, so I guess there's something that came out of it. So what happened here? Is it just... I'm blaming it on Randy... Well, it is Orton's fault. Ambrose got all the pluses. But Orton's low morale and, his gimmick is not happy. I'm going to have to probably give Orton a lot of money to get that morale up, to be honest. So I might do that after I end off this recording. We then go on to our main event of the night that gets an 81B. Hell yes. 81B featured great action and a good crowd. Randy Orton defeating Seth Rollins with an RKO. That's right. Rollins lost this match. We had a lot of interference, and the way I imagine it ending is, it's a good back-and-forth match. Orton's getting ready, to pound on the mat. Yeah, or not, I wouldn't say Orton. Probably, well, no, Orton's, getting ready to do something. Probably not necessarily maybe the pounding on the mat. I don't know exactly, but I would see Rusev come out here and Orton kind of be distracted look over at Rusev. And then here comes Dean Ambrose just running down, jumps on Rusev's back, starts taking him out. Seth Rollins is distracted as well. And, actually maybe I just booked this in the top of my head. Referees laid out. Rollins is waving for Rusev to come out. Here comes Rusev. Ambrose comes and saves the day. Rollins is distracted, turns around. RKO out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3. Randy Orton just pinned the WWE fucking champion. I didn't mean to say the F word there, honestly. It just kind of slipped out. Wow, what a great main event. That's like pay-per-view quality main event. Holy shit. Well, oh, hell yes. 77B. Are we going to start increasing popularity in like every freaking region now? That's amazing. I'm stoked about that. A 77B for a SmackDown? Again, I apologize for any noises if you hear them. Like I said, kids. 77B for a SmackDown? That is definitely our best SmackDown. I'm going to have to check that out. Oh, I had no idea that WWE had signed Brian Cage to a contract at one point. Again, not going to be looking at decisions just in case it is somebody I don't want you guys to know I'm hiring yet. We did get the second part of... What the hell did you guys do? A 77B? Didn't we do like an 80? We did the same thing. Why are they doing... Whatever. Sean Morley's going to Lucha Underground. Does he have a... No? Well, most likely he's going to be a road agent. There's nothing else he can do. So... David Otunga's probably... You guys left me off SmackDown. Well, I'll job you on friggin' NXT. Makes you feel any better. Anybody else? No, everyone in here is about the same. Oh, it's only decisions. Okay. Well, before we end off the episode, there are a couple things I want to do. I want to look at the top events. Where's there it is. So yeah, that was our best SmackDown we've ever done. Was that one right there. It is tied with some Monday Night Raws, but no pay-per-views. But that's a really good friggin' show. Let's see if the Rollins and Orton match made it on there. Right there, May 2015, 81B. You got their match at Extreme Rules. and that was their second best match, actually. Yep. Their third match was the second best match. I'd say their second match might have been the worst. I don't know. Anyway, let's just go look at storylines before we end this off. The AJ Page feud's actually doing a lot better for Divas. Ambrose and Rollins starting off good. We have Sting in there as well, so poor Seth Rollins is not looking good so far. Cena Barrett, not too bad, I guess. This is just the Money in the Bank right now. It has no heat because I don't have another major person in yet. We'll have a major person get in soon, but I just don't have one yet. Natalya and Victoria's, I guess it's okay for a Divas feud. Orton and Rusev doing really well. Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt not doing too bad. This is how I would prefer it to be almost all the time, to be quite frank. Either way, though, Nerds and Geeks, I'm going to end off this episode. Not much else going on here, and kids are getting loud anyway, so let's just end this off here. My name's been OMGWTF, LOLFTWBRB. Hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, do me a favor, leave me a comment, like, and subscribe if you have not already, Nerds and Geeks. And don't forget to pass the message along, you know? I can't do this without you guys. I'd love to see the channel grow, but I'm only one man, and I'm relying on you guys to share these videos and help grow the channel out there so we can get more Nerds and Geeks and hopefully some new things coming out here soon. I will be buying a new laptop, so I'm going to make a vlog video about some big things happening in my life here pretty soon, hopefully pretty soon. So yeah, we'll get to why I'm getting a laptop and all that other stuff, but yeah, just, you know, I'm getting off topic here. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, share the video with your friends, Facebook, Twitter, Grey Dog Studios, Instagram, I don't care where. Share it where people can see it. Go to Reddit, go to Wikipedia, go to WWE.com, go to your school's website, and share it to everybody until Vince McMahon sees it. Then you guys can stop. All right, I'm going a little crazy here right now. That's it, Nerds and Geeks. I'll see you guys later.